All right, so job interviews. We've all been there, right?
Yeah, definitely. Nerve-wracking.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know what gets me? It's those tell me about a time when questions. Like suddenly I'm supposed to have this perfect story ready to go.
Right. It's like, how am I supposed to remember every single detail on the spot?
Exactly. So to help us all navigate this, we're diving into a YouTube video by CareerVids.
Yeah.
They break down how to handle those tricky behavioral interview questions.
Oh, I've heard of them. They're great. So are we talking like strategies and stuff?
Totally. We're going to unpack their tips, figure out how to actually answer these questions in a way that's memorable and impressive.
Okay, I'm in. Let's do it.
Let's dive in. So the video jumps right into this thing about like why interviewers are so obsessed with these tell me about a time questions. Have you noticed that? It's like their go-to move.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like every interview I've had recently has been all about my past experiences.
Right. So the video points out that it's all about how our past behavior is actually a pretty good predictor of how we might act in the future.
Hmm. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, so it's less about them wanting to hear a fascinating story and more about them trying to get a read on how we approach challenges, work with others, that kind of thing.
So it's about showcasing those core skills they're looking for, right?
Exactly. Problem solving, communication, leadership, all that good stuff. And the way we structure our answers can really make or break how those skills come across.
Okay, that makes sense. So instead of just rambling, we need a strategy.
Exactly. But before we jump into the how, I think it's helpful to know what we're dealing with. The video highlights these 5 super common behavioral questions that interviewers love to throw at us. You've probably heard them all.
Oh, I bet I have. Lay 'em on me.
All right, so the classic. Describe a time you faced a challenging situation at work. I feel like that one's a given in any interview.
Yeah, that one's definitely a popular one. What else?
Okay, get ready for this. Tell me about a time you had to work as part of a team.
Classic.
Describe a time you had to meet a tight deadline.
Okay, I can see where they're going with that one. Pressure.
Yep. And then we have describe a time you had to deal with a difficult colleague or customer.
Oh boy, that's a tough one.
Right. And then the one that always makes me cringe a little, describe a time you made a mistake at work.
Ugh. Yeah. Nobody likes to talk about their mistakes.
I know, but the video makes a good point about these questions.
What's that?
It's not really about tripping us up. It's more about seeing how we handle those situations, what we learn from them.
Makes sense. So how do we actually tackle these questions in a way that makes us look good?
That's where CareerVids introduces their secret weapon, the STAR method.
The STAR method. Okay, tell me more.
Okay, the STAR method, it sounds kind of official, right? Like
Uh,
a secret formula?
Right. But it's actually super helpful. Basically, it helps you structure your answers in a way that's clear, concise, and easy for the interviewer to follow.
So no more rambling on and hoping I hit the right points.
Exactly. The STAR method makes sure you cover everything important.
All right, I'm intrigued. Break it down for me. What does STAR even stand for?
Okay, so STAR stands for situation, task, action, result. There's a little roadmap for your story.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. So you start with the situation, right? Like setting the scene.
Exactly. You want to give the interviewer just enough context to understand what was going on. Keep it brief, though. No need to bore them with every little detail.
Right, get to the point. So what's next?
Okay, after the situation comes the task. Now, this is important. This is where you focus on your specific role in the situation, not the entire team's, just yours.
Ah, so even if it was a team effort, I need to highlight my individual contribution.
You got it. It's about owning your part in the story and showing how you added value.
Okay, that makes sense. So I've set the scene, explained my role, what comes next. The action, right?
Yes, this is your time to shine. Describe the specific actions you took to tackle the task or solve the problem. Use strong verbs, be specific, and really bring your actions to life.
So instead of saying I was responsible for the budget, I'd say something like I analyzed the budget, identified areas for cost savings, and implemented a new tracking system.
Now you're talking.
Mm.
That's how you make it action-oriented and show that you took initiative.
Okay, love it. So I've set the scene, explained my role, described my awesome actions. What's the grand finale?
The result, of course. This is where you wrap up your story and tell the interviewer what happened because of your actions. What was the outcome? Did you achieve a goal? Did you solve a problem? If you can quantify your results with numbers, even better.
So like my new budgeting system saved the company 10% on office expenses, something like that.
Perfect. Numbers are super powerful. But even if you don't have exact figures, highlight the positive impact of your work.
Hmm.
Did you improve efficiency, boost morale? Whatever it is, Make sure the interviewer sees the value you brought to the table.
Okay, I'm starting to see how the STAR method could really help me craft some killer interview answers. But do you have any examples? Like, how does this actually play out in real life?
Absolutely. The Career Vids video has some great examples. Want to break a few down together?
Yes, let's do it. Hit me with your best STAR method example. So we've got this framework, right? The STAR method. But how do we actually use it? Like, what stories should we be telling?
That's where the real work comes in. It's about reflecting on your own experiences, digging into those moments in your career that really showcase your abilities.
So, thinking back to those tough projects, those times I had to deal with a difficult coworker or even mess something up.
Exactly. Those are the gold mines. Because those are the situations where you were really put to the test
Yeah.
and how you handled them. That's what interviewers want to know.
Okay, I'm getting it. So it's not about making up these perfect hypothetical stories. It's about finding the real life examples from my own work history that demonstrate those key skills.
Exactly. Because those stories, they're going to be way more powerful, way more authentic.
I feel more genuine too, right? Like I won't be racking my brain trying to remember this made up scenario.
For sure. And the interviewer can probably tell when someone's being genuine versus, reciting a rehearsed script.
Totally.
Hmm.
So what I'm hearing is the key to really nailing these behavioral questions is to spend some time reflecting on my own career journey, those challenges I've faced, those successes I've been a part of.
And even those moments where things didn't quite go according to plan, don't be afraid to talk about those.
Right. Because that's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. Those failures, they often teach us way more than our successes. So embrace them.
It's all about how we frame those experiences, right? Turning them into opportunities to show what we learned, how we grew.
Absolutely. It shows self-awareness, resilience. Those are huge.
So instead of dreading those, tell me about a time when questions, we can actually look at them as a chance to tell our story.
Exactly. And by using the STAR method as our guide, we can make sure those stories are clear, concise, and impossible to forget.
It's like giving the interviewer a highlight reel of our best moments.
I love that.
So, to wrap things up, prep for those behavioral interview questions, but don't just memorize generic answers.
Dig deep. Find those real-life stories that make you stand out.
And when you're telling those stories, remember the STAR method: situation, task, action, result.
It's your secret weapon for acing those interviews and landing that dream job.
This was awesome.
Glad to be here.
Until next time.